angle here for you guys. Yeah, let's turn it slightly that way. Yeah, look at that. That's a good angle. Is it? Is it though? 100% good angle. Let's just move that back here a little bit. So I'm right there, right with you. And we can go even a bit more into this direction. Oh, not too much. That was a bit too much. So now look at that. That's an okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Dad's Making. Today I am making a so-called naked cake with mascarpone. I'm going to deviate from the recipe that I'm working from a little bit. Instead of strawberries, I'm going to use raspberries and blueberries. I'm going to put some into the batter and some into the into the cream. And I also thought, which could be nice, would be to color it blue and red, you know, then put the raspberries in the blue and the blueberries in the red, and you know, have a bit of fun with it. So, and you know, let's see how it all works out. What you need to do, of course, as always, is preheat your oven at 350 Fahrenheit, 180 Celsius. You grease 2 pans, or you know, grease them or lay them out with greaseproof paper, whatever you prefer. So then we need 250 grams of butter, softened, which I've already put into my lovely bowl. And then I will add 250 grams or 1 1/3 cup of caster sugar in. You can use a stand mixer to cream this, but if your butter is like super soft, then like mine, yeah, it should be possible to do that, you know, without one. I actually need to remember just to order one in the future, or in the today, because I'm doing too much baking to no longer not have one, you know. Although like our grannies and all of that, they used to do it with their hands and arms and all of that stuff, you know. And as you can see, it is all very creamed anyway already because of the softness of the butter. If your butter isn't super soft like mine, and mine was, you know, really, really soft, it was hard to, you know, when you touch the pack and you just by grabbing it lightly make an indent into your butter, then you're able to, you know, cream it like this, as you can see here, you know. That's already super creamy, which is nice, you know, super pliable, super creamy. That's very good. Now let's just make sure that we have our, have our batter flung through the room, it seems. But no, of course I jest or joke, you know. So, what is next on the agenda? Let's see what our lovely recipe says. So we softened or creamed it now. Next we put in our eggs one by one. So egg number 1 is in. 2 is in. And our batter already is not as much sticking in our whisk, as you can see here. Then egg number 3 is in. As you can see here, we can already mix through really nicely. And last but not least, our 4th egg is going in. So as you can see, we can get through our batter really nicely already. The moisture of the eggs loosen it up a lot. So next, you could add a bit of lemon zest if you wanted to. I don't have lemon here at the moment, so I'm grand. And then you add vanilla. Again, you know, a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Or, you know, if you like more, then put in more. I only have one of my little extracts left, so I'm gonna do about half and then keep the other half for the mascarpone in a little bit. And let's just get that mixed in. A little bit of elbow grease here again. So that's mixed in. That's great. Now we need to combine our flour, baking soda, baking powder and salt in a separate bowl. So we have 250 grams of flour. Then we take a little spoon, a teaspoon. So we put in 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So 1, 2.5. That's good. Then our baking soda, just half a teaspoon. Yeah, that's about half. And half a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, that's about right. So that's perfect. Now let's give this a little stir to incorporate it with each other. Yes, I've chosen a bowl that's tight or a tiny bit small, but that's okay. So once we have combined our dry ingredients, guess what we'll do? We'll add the dry ingredients to our wet ingredients and mix well. So let's get that in there and start mixing. Again, you're welcome to use a electrical mixer, hand mixer, or if you have one of those fancy ones to mix batter, then also very good. And you're lucky to have one of those, and you're more than welcome to use them. Seeing that I have neither at this point in time, I'm just gonna incorporate everything with a bit of elbow grease. So yeah, that's good looking batter. Yeah, look at that, that's good looking batter. So the next thing is we will divide the batter into 2 pans so that they roughly weigh the same. And like I teased earlier, this is where we're gonna deviate slightly, ever so slightly from the original recipe, because I'm gonna add coloring to it. Okay, so let's give it another little stir. That's grand. So we are at 0 here. So let's get our batter in here. One more for good measure. And then let's see how much we have in. Let's add a tiny smidge more to get it to 300 grams. Yeah, that's perfect. Now I'm going to use one of my tins here, if they stay, and if not, I'll quickly just get a different bowl. I'll get my other small metal bowl. Yeah, it's not perfect, so let me just adjust the scales. Great. So now let's see that we get 300 in here as well. Almost. Yeah, 300. So we have a good bit left. So let's just kind of divide that roughly. You know yourself. Yeah, mostly you'll be able to judge it by eye, you know. How much batter or how much you have on a spoon. You know, if you want to be super precise, of course, keep measuring it. It says here I'm at 475 now. 475 in this one. And how much in this one? Yeah, roughly the same. So it seemed that I had to adjust. This will get this amount, and this will get a little bit less. So now that I have separated my dough, let's get food coloring. So look at that, and you know what? We're gonna go crazy and use all the blue and all the red. As you can see here, it's a nice red color and a nice blue color. Everything that you see here is from Aldi. So, you know, if you want to get the exact same ingredients, just go to Aldi, you know. I'm sure Lidl's things are fine as well, Tesco, or whatever the supermarkets are called where you live. You know, look at that funky red color, you know. Wow. Didn't think it would turn out this cool, but I am liking what I'm seeing. Yeah, you can see too. Look at that. Like, look at that funky fresh red color here. Awesome. So let's transfer it into our cake tin. Now these cakes will be because my cake tins are probably a smidgen too big. So they probably will be done quicker than I imagine, but yeah, with all the rising agent in there, they should still come up nicely regardless. And I'll just take this as a learning for next time and make the batter twice. But in the past when I've done that, I just had massively too big cakes. And I mean cakes that really were extraordinarily thick. And well, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. It can seem a bit big, you know, when you eat a slab of cake, right? Rather than a piece of cake that you were probably more after. So let me quickly wash my spatula so that we don't, if we can, get red food coloring into our blue, because then, as we all know from painting, it'll turn purple. Now, I love purple, so there's nothing wrong with it turning purple, but you know, I'm going for red. So now let's see that we incorporate this blue into our cake mixture. And would you look at that, like, again, it's gonna be a bit more moist than, of course, without the food coloring. So take that into account when you're baking. You know, that it could put your timings off ever so slightly. But as you can see, the result actually looks fantastic. At least I think it does. So look at that. Looks a bit alien, Star Trek-y, huh? So now let's take our second cake tin and fill in the blue cake. And if any of you are from Great Britain, from the US, or any other country that has red and blue in their flag, or maybe you support, you know, soccer clubs that have that color or those colors, then now you know how to make a cake to celebrate on whatever national holidays or match days that you want to celebrate. So as you can see, I'm always turning to kind of get the cake mixture equal in all areas, so that we don't have a thick and a thin side. I mean, while baking it'll level out a tiny bit, but not too much, so you know, you don't want to end up with a thick and a thin side. So let's just get this in here. So now look at these colors. I mean, look at them, they're really amazing. Really happy with the way that they turned out. So, and now, like I said earlier, again, deviation from the original recipe. Oh, look at that. Dropped a bit of our lovely blue to the side. But, you know, again, happy accidents. Not a big deal. So let's just distribute a few of these lovely red, look at the red pop from the blue cake batter, you know. So let's just, you know, take roughly half of them here. And now same goes for our blueberries. Let's just drop them in here. So again, roughly half. Have a few more blueberries than I have raspberries, so you know, this will allow me to add a few more blueberries into my red batter here. Just kind of, you know, distribute them randomly, you know. And so now, of course, as you can see, like, let me show you this. This looks flippin' awesome. At least I think so. It looks really cool. And then a red one with blueberries. I'm gonna press them into the batter ever so slightly so that the batter encases them later on a bit more, because I don't want them to burn. So, and yeah, you can even smush them slightly, you know. So let's just put them in here. So, haha. My raspberries are very soft, so they are smushed. That's fine, you know. That is absolutely fine. So now that our cake is prepared, let's put them in. So number one and number two. Awesome. So let me just unlock my iPad so that I can see how we make our lovely mascarpone cream. The mascarpone cream is actually quite straightforward. So, do I have a bowl here? Yeah. So, I have a bowl. Yeah. So, we need 250 grams of chilled mascarpone. Out of here. It's wet here, but we can work here too, that's fine. So here's our mascarpone. I'll stir it slightly while getting it out so that it's not one solid mass. So this then can wait until the cake or the cakes are done. You know, so you're just literally you're sorting out your whatchamacallit, your icing for the cakes to be done. Then, you know, another teaspoon of vanilla, or literally just what I've left in here. We don't want anything to go to waste. So, okay, and now I need icing sugar. How much icing sugar do we need? 1/4 cup. That's fine. Let's get the flour out that I put in here by mistake. So, now 1/4 cup of icing sugar. About right, and then I'll get a fork actually to mix it all through. So again, you can do this in a bowl, you know, in a bigger bowl with a standing mixer, you know, an electrical mixer, until everything is well incorporated. Or you use a whisk or a fork, in this case, like I am, and just do it that way. You know, our grannies used to do it that way, and there ain't nothing wrong with how Granny did these kind of things, you know. So, as you can see, they're all combined already. Look at that. So, now we need to add our whipped cream. You can also use double cream. How much do we need? A 3/4 cup. So let's just get to it. So 3/4, that's great. And the rest of my cream I'll use later to make some whipped cream. So now let's be careful to not spill everything. Well, like I said spill everything. I didn't still say spill something. Although I might need to switch to a bigger bowl to properly be able to whip this. But let's just see if I can't incorporate it. But you know, like most dads, we try anyway and see where we go. As you can see, starting to incorporate. And you whip that until it's stiff. And that's then gonna be our icing. Later on, we're gonna, when I'm icing the cakes, I'm gonna crush my berries ever so slightly, and then gonna put on a layer of cream, then crushed berries, then more cream, second cake on top, rest of the cream on top, and then just dirty ice it, or naked cake ice it, or whatever you call it. Basically the one that where it looks like you've ran out of icing, that way. So as you can see, the cream looks lovely, but our cakes aren't done yet. So the cake will take as long as it takes, basically roughly half an hour. Just, you know, try to test it either with a skewer or a knife, you know, poke it. And then when it is actually done, put it on a rack, leave it cool down, because otherwise your cream is gonna melt and then it's gonna be a puddle, and nobody wants that. But that is for part 2 that I will be adding on for social media and YouTube release. So as you can see, I've made a mess. That means I'm gonna clean up now. And I'll see you guys later for part 2 of Dad's making a naked cake with mascarpone. And yeah, see you soon. Hey everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Dad's making a lovely cake, naked cake with mascarpone, blueberries, raspberries, and yeah, we made it colorful. As you can see, here's our blue cake, here's our red cake. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a good bit of our icing and just gonna start spreading it on our cooled cake. The cakes have been cooling for roughly 20 minutes, which should be fine. And enough time, you know, to cool down so that our mascarpone does not melt. You're going to want to add a good layer in the middle, you know, and also that with enough icing you can even out a little bit of the unevenness from baking, you know. So as you can see, we've layered it now, or we've added our icing, and now our berries are next. Let's just place them around any old way. I mean, if you want to go symmetrical, then go symmetrical. And if you prefer to go scattered, then scatter, you know. So let's just kind of spread the love of these lovely berries. Yeah, the blueberries, maybe crush them slightly in your hands. and just dart them around, or not dart, but you know what I mean. Just get a nice layer of berries done, you know. So we're almost ready. Now let's put some over here too. Doesn't this, or is this, whoops, we lost one. Doesn't this look lovely in itself? And it would be, you know, lovely in itself. Let's just take this long knife and make sure we place our top layer fairly evenly and kind of slightly press down on it, you know. And now let's spread the rest of our icing on here. And this is a naked cake, so like I said, it's gonna look like we ran out of icing, but that is sort of the idea. Similar to when we were putting our batter into our molds. If you turn the cake while icing it, then you will get a more even distribution. And if you're like me and forget it at the beginning, then you know you won't get it as evenly, but that's fine too. Seeing that we're doing a naked cake, it's gonna look a bit messy on the edges anyway, you know. So, and yeah, if you get a few crumbs of your layers on your spatula, that's absolutely fine. Do not worry at all, you know. And like I said, it's gonna look like, you know, you ran slightly out of icing, and that's the kind of effect that you want. So as you can see, I have enough left for me on the spatula to enjoy once this video is done. But yeah, we have a lovely cake. As you can see, when we twist it or turn it, you know, it's fine. It's a naked cake, you know, it's dirty icing or whatever you call it, and it's done. You know, blueberries in the red layer, raspberries in the blue layer, both in between in our mascarpone, and it just looks delightful. So as always, thank you for watching another project Dad's making, and as always also, I am your Steve and I am out.